Hey guys, welcome back to an episode of Modern Skyblock 3 with Haliee, and we're picking up a little bit after we left off. I've done a little bit of homework. I've read you guys' comments, but we're going to continue on with Sai anyway. Alright, first of all, let me go ahead and address some comments because I did get a couple of comments from I think one from Linda and one from Jesse. So as we know, I'm working through the Sai, I think PSI, I can't pronounce it. I'm working through the Sai mod, and it is interesting to say the least. And as Linda said, you know, reading the book actually does help. I think I have a little bit better understanding on here. Now, one thing that Linda pointed out is, you know, the book was talking about bullets before. And basically the bullets are, I guess the rod used to be a gun. So that's why I was talking about bullets. But now since it's actually a rod, the spell node is actually the bullet. So it wasn't crazy. It did say bullets, but yeah, it actually does help. So I think I have a better understanding of this. I'm going to go ahead and go through this. I'm reading Jesse's comment here again. So I think, you know, I figured this out, of course, is that, can I put it here? Is that the rod now, so I don't want to put it back in there. So the rod has different pieces on it. So if I was shift it, there's a frame, a crux, a notch, a source, and varnish. We put all that together when we're putting in the rod constructing table. So I have all these pieces in here. And so now that focusing rod, see, it has these 4 slots on here. So I can put multiple spells in there. So we're actually going to work through this. And I'm going to talk about right now because I actually completed level 2, tutorial 2, by myself. So let me just kind of briefly go through that real quick and talk about what I did learn on that. So for those of you that are kind of learning Sai along with me, I don't know what any of this means. I'm not a programmer. I thought I knew a little bit of programming, but this is like a completely different foreign language to me. So I'm just kind of going through logically what it's trying to get me to do. So what the tutorial 2 basically told us to do is that now, you know, we have this huge grid here, and there's different parts of these grids. So if I right click, it gives us our options. So when I had the level 2, so right now I got 2 additional things. When I had level 2, I had caster and I had a trick, or the trick we had was called the debug trick, which basically is putting something in the chat every time I click on the rod. So basically what I did, I put the I added a connector, which you can see here, and I just basically had this connector. So these little arrows, these little indentions, I think they mean something. So I had the caster doing the debug trick, and then I had a connector going to the number 4. Again, I don't know what any of this means. Basically, I can make this whatever number I want. I can make it 3, I can make it 4,400 and blah, blah, blah. But I just made it 4 for right now because that's all it asked me to do. And I knew that it was a good spell, I'm using quotation marks there, because I got the check mark here. So if I had put the connector, let's see, if I take this connector off, I think I could just hit delete. See, it's not working. So I basically got the caster spell, and when I've got this, see, I've got the targets here. Now I can take this off. So this was the original spell that we had. We had the caster going into the trick. So what it wanted me to do is it wanted me to put an arrow somewhere of where I wanted this next connection to go. So I had the target posting that way. And that's what Linda was saying. Make sure you're kind of reading what it says. It's, so I chose, I can put the arrow here. I can put the arrow here, wherever I want it to go. But wherever that arrow is going is where the next, is where the actual next spells coming from. So if I try to put the connector here, it's not going to do anything because it's not connecting to anything. So let's delete that. So I put the connector here, and then so I've got it going, connecting those, and then I can put a number. I can choose this number here, and see, now it changes to a 0. But I can make that number again whatever I want. Again, I have no idea what these numbers mean. But trust me, they mean something. And we're going to learn a little bit more here. So let me go ahead and go back to the book. So now that we've finished 2, if you actually just kind of click through here, you'll see all these things at the bottom. These are the new things you learn. So every time you level up, you learn a new little hieroglyphic symbol down here. And remember, we have to go all the way down here to 10. I don't know what happens after 6. We'll figure that out here in a few episodes. But right now, let's go ahead and see if we can go through 2. Let's see, what else did I learn on 2? Right click into the arrow to do a new spell. Oh yeah, so basically I think if I hold shift, yeah, so it just basically did a new spell. Now I forgot how I did this last time. That's right. If I hold C, I can see what my spells are as long as I have the rod open. And if you look here on the right-hand side, right under the map, you see that 600. That's the spell power that I have, or the psi power. I don't know how it is. But anyway, okay. So if I want to learn more about my actual rod, this is going to come in handy on the lesson 3, which is what I'm going to go over today. It has all these little numbers here. So we have an iron rod frame that has 70 efficiency and 100 potency. Again, I have no idea what none of those numbers mean, but it's going to come in. It's going to come in handy. We currently have a humble rod crux with a complexity of 10 and a projection of 1. Excuse me there. We have a minor rod notch with a bandwidth of 5 and 4 notches. I guess 4 notches, I don't know. And a glowing rod source with an overflow of 100. Now that's going to come in handy because we're going to go ahead and read through chapter 3. I know it's tutorial 3, but calling it chapters just actually makes more sense here. Let me go ahead and open that up. Remember, just use the C key, and that will open up your tutorial here. So we're going to go ahead and go back to 3. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit because this is some things that we talked about before. So what we're going to do, we're going to add a trick. So notice there's 2 things on here, 2 new additional spells. I'm using quotation marks here. We have the add motion. So we'll hold shift on that. It adds motion to a target entity. So it's going to have a speed, a direction, and a vector. And then we also have the entity look, which is basically going to get the gets an entity's look vector. I don't know what that means. All right, so we're going to be working with these 2 new spells here. Okay, so this trick, as you expected, adds movement to an entity. So before, our little debug trick just gives us some information. So I guess it's telling something. Basically, entity player. This is Haliee. The name of my world, I called it for YouTube. So it's telling me information about the actual world. And I think these were the coordinates I was standing in. If I look at my XYZ, you're not working. Why are you not working? Oh, hang on. Make sure I choose the spell. There we go. So yeah, I think it's giving me my actual coordinates there. So X level is 1046, Y is 86, and Z is 1006 and some change there. So it gives us our basic coordinates, but we're going to now add a trick to it, I guess, to shift me around, basically the caster. So it takes an entity, a vector, a number, and a consonant. You should have figured out selector, caster, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so let's keep scrolling down here. Now it says we don't have any great tricks up our sleeve to get a vector for the trick, but we do have an operator entity, which gets a vector corresponding. There's a lot of fancy words here. I don't know what any of that means. All right. So we're going to use the tools of what we actually know right now. So we've got a connector. Let's see what we want to try to do. Let's just delete some of these items here. All right, so let's just put the number here. So we've got selecting a caster and it's doing a debug trick. I want to change it from a debug trick. Let's click there, and let's change it to an add motion trick. So basically, add motions to the target entity. So you got none, target entity, director, vector, and speed constant. So there's a lot of stuff we got there. Let's go ahead and let's click here, and we want the target. So the target's going to be there. I think we're going to find out. We're going to do our connectors. And let's see, I really think I have all this going the wrong way. Let's go ahead and put a number. Let's put a number 5. Oh, no, 3. There's a 1. Just put 1. Wait, 1. Go in there. 1. Or not. Okay, let's see. We're going to figure this out. We got a cast. So let's go back to the book. Because again, it doesn't really tell us how to do this, but we're going to kind of piece it together as best as we can. Now I know Linda, or either Linda or was it Donnie? No, it's Jesse, that says, I can look up pre-programmed spells for the bullets once you have the ability to use better spells. For example, Jesse said there was a spell that does break blocks at a 3x3. That's going to be really, really cool. So apparently Google and the internet has all these fancy spells out there, but we're going to see if we can actually understand this in this. So let's keep going. but we do have operator entity look, which, let's see which one, operator entity look, yeah. Okay. Okay, so we have which gets us a vector corresponding to the direction the player is looking. If we pass that into our trick add motion, the player will move in the direction they are looking at. Okay, so we're going to take this one off, and we're going to use the operator look, and let's see, we want this way, and we're going to do the add motion trick. Is that going the right way? I don't think it's going the right way. Let's see, let's go back. Because I gotta get the arrows pointing the right way. So if we pass that into the trick add motion, the player character will move in the direction they are looking. As for the number, go with 3 for now. You can change it, of course, but 3 is a good one. Now this is where we're talking about the numbers. We were looking at our wand earlier. You'll notice, where'd it go? Where'd it go? You'll notice that when you modify the value of the constant, the numbers on the right change. These numbers are relevant. Okay, let's see. Okay, where does this go? Target. Okay. Operator entity look. So we got a vector that's going to be going this way. And it says if I add the trick one, I'm looking at that. We got target entity, direction vector, and speed number constant. Okay. So if we do this one, I don't know. Speed number constant. Okay, so we got target direction. I guess it's going to be going that way. No, that way. I think. Hang on. Do I need a direction on this one? Do I? Oh, I don't know. Let's take that off. Let's go back and just put that. Okay, so target direction. We got that. Now, direction, let's go that way. Oh, wait. Okay. Both of those green. Let's go that way. And speed, I don't know. Pick a direction. Any direction. Let's do it that way. We got all 3. And then we need a constant. So let's put a constant in here. And it said we're going to use the number 3. And that's still an X. Okay. So it says the parameter is facing an invalid piece. 5, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. So this is facing an invalid piece. Okay. I like this. It's actually telling me a little bit more. Okay. Spell has no tricks. Okay. So let's put a trick here. And now it's saying a required parameter is not set. Okay. I guess these are all the parameters here. Required parameter is not set. I don't know what's parameter. A required parameter is not set. Okay. It's facing an, oh, it's like the parameter is facing an empty cell. Okay. Do I have to put the constant here? Let's put the constant there now. And let's see what happens. It's facing an invalid piece. Was that a constant? Oh, good grief. We're going to, all right. As for the vector, as for the number, go with 3. Okay. The player character will move in the direction they're looking. As for the number, go with 3 for now. You can change it, of course, but 3 is the thing. These numbers are relevant. They match up, spell stats. And these are the things we looked at earlier. Okay, so there's something that I'm missing here. Again, there's a lot of words here I really don't understand. It's time we introduce a trick that does some interaction. Okay, I know how to read the table now. So it's telling me that the parameter is facing an invalid piece. So let's start over again. We'll figure this out. All right, so we have a operator, the entity look, needs a trick. So we're going to put a trick here. Again, it wants us to use the add motion trick. So it wants us to use those two. And now it says a required parameter is not set. Okay, so we're going to select this one. And the only thing it said was connect to a constant. Wait a minute, is that it? 4? The required parameter is not set. Okay, these here. So, parameter is facing an invalid piece. Face that way. It's facing invalid piece. Face that way. Oh, it's okay. The parameter is facing an empty cell. Okay, so that should say empty cell as well. Okay, so this parameter needs to be facing something. Okay, but this is an invalid piece. So what would be a valid piece for this? I thought a constant would, because all I talked about was putting a constant. Do I put the debug trick? It's facing an empty cell. Take that off. I know you, for those of you that know about Psy, you probably are yelling at me right now. But this is how I learn. Now, hopefully, if I can get through this one and I understand more, then I hopefully can breeze through 4 through 10. I don't know if that's going to happen, but we're going to see if we can figure this out in this episode. This is really, really frustrating. And I know you guys are saying, hey, ask Snoop. He's good at stuff. Yes, he's very good at stuff, but Snoop is also very busy as well. Okay, it's facing an empty cell. Okay. It's facing an empty cell. Okay, so let's face a non-empty cell. Okay, I know it needs to face there. I need to put something here. All these are connectors. They connect stuff and things. I like the way it says that. Stuff and things. And the only thing I can think of is got to face a constant. But now it's saying it's an invalid piece. Do I put the caster here? For required parameters not set. An empty cell. So something's got to go here. Operator? Invalid piece. Okay, I've only got like 4 things to choose from here. Caster? Required parameters not set. Okay, so it's not saying it's an invalid piece. It's just saying, but I've got the, no, okay. Okay, then do the connector here. And let's do down here. And let's do 4 or 3. I know that the constant needs to be 3. Required parameters not set. What parameters not set? I don't know. Oh, it's telling me the actual set. Okay, 5, 4. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. So this parameter is not set. I guess I need all these things here. Directions, parameters, all these things here. Okay, so this cell, I need to set direction. 2 or more parameters are showing a side. Ah, hey, I got that. Okay, so how about that? Parameters facing an empty cell. Speed. Okay, well, bowl. I don't know. Do I put another constant here? Parameters facing an invalid piece. Which one? I don't know. Okay, let's take these off. Okay. Parameters face. Okay, so 5, 4 is facing an empty cell. Well, which one's empty? They both have some. Ah, that one's empty. Even though the arrow's pointing that way. Let's go that way. 2 or more parameters are sharing a side. Well, go over there. Parameters facing an invalid piece. This is like playing one of those text games like Bork, you know. You're in a forest, go west. You're in a forest, go west. But at least we're learning how to read it. And hopefully by next episode, guys, I will be able to explain what I'm looking for. But it looks like I'm trying to get this trick to be happy. It's not happy right now. See, it's saying all these things are facing invalid cells. So let's put them all here. And that's going to tell me a parameter is facing an empty cell. Well, yeah, they're all facing empty cells. But now if I put something here, it's telling me it's an invalid piece. So I don't know what needs to go on the other side of this. Let's go back and see if it tells us real quick. Okay, so it takes an entity, a vector. A vector, I guess, is the direction. That's kind of what vector means. And a number constant. You should have figured out already the selector caster returns an entity player. What? Returns entity player. Which if you use the new trick add motion. Okay, so I do need the caster one. You could use it to add movement to your player. Okay, so add motion to, that's what I had that earlier. Let's put the caster back in here. 2 or more parameters are sharing a side. Okay, that's fine. I don't, parameters facing an empty cell. So target, direction, and speed. All right, does that mean anything here? Let's see. A vector is the direction in which you want the movement to be added. The number is a constant to the speed you want to apply. Aha! Okay, so which one's speed? Speed is up here. So let's put a constant here, and let's make that 3. Okay? Parameters facing an empty cell. That's this one down here. Okay, so, target, direction, and speed. So I got target is me. Direction, how do I put a direction in there? Direction's vector. Okay, so what needs to go here for this? I think I'm starting to understand, and we are at the end of the episode, and I think I'm finally getting the vector is the direction in which you want the movement to be added, and the constant is the number of speeds you want to apply. Well, how do I... Can I put this over here and see what happens? Required parameters not set. Okay, 4 for 4, required parameters not set. Aha! Facing invalid piece. Empty cell. Empty cell. Okay, so this is all great. So I got all the arrows pointing, I guess, in the right direction. But now I need this. A target entity. Is it going to be caster? Do I put caster again down here? Yay! Okay, I think that we'll see if it actually works. Okay, so at the end of the episode, got it, I think. All right, so now if I right click, oh wait, I need to get this out of here, and I'm going to put the new spell on here. I heard a beep beep, and now I'll put this back in here. Supposedly, we leveled up to 4. Woohoo! I knew I would figure it out. It took an entire episode to do this. But yes, okay, so it actually started to make a lot more sense. We have, it gives you the clues up here for telling you that it's not right. So, entity caster, okay. I think I understand, guys. Go back and watch the last 5 minutes of this episode, and it will make so much more sense. So we are currently at level, what was that? We are at level 4, and now we've learned something else. We got explode. I think it moved me. Did it move me? Yeah, it moves me forward, whatever direction I'm facing. So I'll go up 3 blocks, and I gotta let the psi rebuild itself. Yeah, so using all the little power there. And apparently it hurts you when it does that too. I don't like that. All right. Well, anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I hope you're learning something. Again, sorry it's just taken so long to actually do it, but I actually did it within one episode. If you have any questions or comments, definitely leave those down at the comments, questions, comments, all those words. I can't think of my words all of a sudden. Tips, tricks, or techniques. I just want to say hi. Leave that comment down below. Questions, comments, concerns. That's the word I'm thinking of. You guys' comments definitely leave me great feedback, so I'll know more about what I'm doing. If you're new to my channel, go ahead to the subscribe button and click the like button as well, so you can be notified when new stuff comes out. If you want to hang out with me and the other squad members, you can do so by becoming a Patron. Be sure to click on the Patreon link down below. Learn about all the rewards, all the cool, awesome rewards, such as playing with us on our servers. So many servers that we offer, and then also hanging out with us whenever we stream live from one of those Patreon servers. If you're looking for a server to play on with your friends, consider Host Havoc. That link is listed down below. Use that link to go to Host Havoc so they'll know that you came from the squad. They offer all kinds of great services, including web hosting as well, so be sure to check them out. And last piece of housekeeping, today is Tuesday, October 2nd. And in just 3 days, or really 4 days, I guess, anyway, but October 6th, I'm going to be in Washington, D.C., part of Mind Fair with part of the Rising Stars program. So be sure to check it out and save 20% on your ticket by using the code Rising Stars. And I hope to see you guys there. Okay, I want to stop right now. I got a lot more to do. I'm going to try to go through the next section, the next tutorial. I'm just going to click learn here. I've got some stuff to read about here, but yeah, we've got now some new tricks and new operators, and if we go into our table and we right click on anywhere, you can see we got those new tricks there. So it's all about leveling up to learn about new things. So hopefully you learned something like I did. You got to have targets. Your target's going to be your caster, your direction's going to be your vector, and what's the other thing called? Your speed. It's going to be a speed at a constant number. All right, guys, until next time, I will talk to you later. So have a great day, guys. Bye.